If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is March the 25th, 2022, and today the topic is proof and accusations. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. I will say that it seems like this week flew by, like yesterday was Monday. I don't know. But here we are on this Friday. And here to give you all the juice. The very interesting thing about today's episode is that today it represents the 100th episode of the 6th season. So that means that tomorrow, if the Lord's will, we'll be on season 7 of The Juice. I talked to y'all in the after show about that. I want to say either yesterday or the day before. You guys know, or if you don't know, just a reminder that basically, every 100 episodes, I just call it a new season. And so that means that today, if I'm not mistaken, and if I'm counting correctly, that this represents the 600th episode of The Juice. So to God be the glory for that, man. You know, who would have known, who would have thought that, one, I would do this long. Two, that it would be so consistent. Three, that 600 episodes, that's crazy. And like I said, that's not even including the talk show. That's not including any of the other segments that have been created since the launch of GSL. So that is amazing. Like I said, God is doing something here, and I'm thankful and grateful for it. Again, every day I feel blessed to be able to be doing this. And, and I hope that me sharing encourages you and inspires you on your journey as well. Whatever that may be, whether it's tackling Bible studying for yourself and starting this routine in your life, or if it's, helping out in some aspect, spreading the gospel in some aspect, which we all are supposed to be doing, especially for believers. But, finding your way to do that. So, yeah, man, it's God be the glory for all things. So that's one thing. Well, since, today is Friday, I might as well go ahead and shout out that there will be an episode of God, Sex, and Love Talk Show that will be going live. Look, I am entrusting that Mr. Boomer, yes, my guy, my editor slash brand manager slash movie editor slash he's getting a lot of slashes working with me. But yeah, I am entrusting that this episode will be live at 7. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be a chat with Miss Kim Sorrell, lovely, lovely lady, a fellow author and everything like that. Awesome conversation tonight at 7 on God, Sex, and Love, the talk show. You guys should be able to see it on the website and on our YouTube, God, Sex, and Love. I think y'all know how to do that, right? Obviously, you all can go to godsexandlove.com, if nowhere else. Or, I guess if you're looking at this, then you know that we have the, if you're anybody that's watching me live or whatever, you know that there's Facebook, you know that there's the YouTube and everything like that. So, I think that's it for my announcements. I mean, I didn't do too much yesterday. I didn't do everything yesterday, I guess. I did most of the things that I had said I was going to be doing. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's get into this conversation. Let's get into this conversation about proof and accusations. Because, friends, I'm telling you. Okay, so one, did my prayer meditation this morning. I don't know if I was distracted, but like afterwards, I kind of started looking up some other stuff for what I don't know. I don't even know what it was, but I was looking at some other things, and then eventually, I looked at the clock and it was 5:05. So when I looked at the clock, it led me, and I ended up reading verses around 5:05, and it led me to I think it was Matthew 5:5, and it was saying like, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." If I'm not mistaken, that's what that verse said. Y'all can check it for yourself. But so it led me there, and I ended up reading majority of that of Matthew 5. But eventually, this concept, proof and accusations, came into my mind, and so I ended up defining both words. Even though I'm not gonna, y'all can look that up for yourself. I didn't write them down. What those definitions were for proof and for accusations. Um, but I think I'm heavily inspired by just things I'm observing. Obviously, again, shared with you all numerous times about different things that I've observed since 2020. I told you all that my eyes have been open in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to, you know, politics and everything like that. And obviously, I believe that that's a lot that, went in hand with that. But part of it is because, I guess, as I become older and, as a mother and everything like that, you start paying more attention to laws that are being passed or things that are being done that will affect us down the line, or affect my child, right? I think most people are paying attention to a certain extent of this type of information, right? Um, so, anywho, right, I just find it very interesting, and the things that I'm observing and seeing, how people handle information. Uh, this idea of proof and accusations. It's like we all know about the phrase the court of public opinion or something like that. Um, it seems like it doesn't take too much for uh, the masses or people to just kind of gravitate to whatever they want to believe or whatever. You know what I mean? Like all it takes is a good title, maybe even a hot button topic, something to get emotional about or whatever the case is, and then we're just go with that. It's like we just sway with the wind. Uh, and I just say we as people, we as humans. Not even pointing out no particular group, just humans in general. It seems like it's easy to just control what humans think. All you got to do is put out a topic, put out a little something, allude that it, put a little bit of emotion behind it or whatever, and then it's like people just sway and just go with it. Um, you know, then you're like, where's the proof? Like, where's the, is there anything that, solidifies the statements or whatever the case is? It seems like people don't necessarily care about that. You know what I mean? Like, even if you find proof of the opposite, right? You can find proof of the opposite, and it's like, hey, here's the proof of the opposite. And then it's like, no one cares about that. Like, if it doesn't fit the narrative, right? Or if it doesn't fit the particular idea or whatever the case is, it's like, oh, I don't care about that proof. I want to still just go along with the thing, whatever it is, right? And so I think that's why we're supposed to be careful, right, about this. I think we're supposed to be careful even about looking for a sign and everything like that. And so, um, I don't know. I just find it to be very, very interesting the way that things are handled, especially in the media, as well as like what I observe people say and do with certain topics. It's like, goodness, okay, can we use our own mind, right? Can we have some common sense, or can we, at least seek God? If we don't feel like we have the knowledge, right, we could at least seek God and, ask for discernment, ask for understanding, as we research, right, as we look into whatever it is, and then you can make like a solid, I think, you can draw some conclusions when you get information, right? Instead of just gravitating to a hot button issue or whatever just because. I like to at least try to get an understanding before I make a decision, right? But that's me, you know what I'm saying? That's me. I mean, I understand that everybody's not like me, you know what I'm saying? Or everybody, everybody isn't me. So people handle things in different ways and things, but it's just interesting. It's just interesting. But what does the Bible say, right? How does it say we're supposed to handle these type of situations when it comes to proof or accusations or evidence or, any of this stuff? So that was the inspiration today, and this is what the Bible got to say. This is what the Bible has to say. So Exodus 23:1 says, "You shall not spread a false report. You shall not join hands with a wicked man to be malicious, to be a malicious witness, uh, or to be malicious witnesses." However, it wraps up there. Again, you can read that verse in its entirety for yourself. But again, it just reiterates this idea that, hey, man, we need to be careful what we align ourselves with. We need to be careful with what we just follow. You know, because you know what, Lord? Okay. So the interesting thing is this morning, I don't know if it was after the prayer meditation, but at some point I did look at this video. It was a random video on YouTube, and it was of this mother that was, I guess, in court speaking on behalf of her son. And she was saying to the judge, "Judge, my son, he's a great man, and, I don't believe he did this. And, a mother knows if her child did this and everything like that." And the interesting thing was that the judge, now I don't know what the statement was supposed to be about. It was a clip, you know what I mean? I don't know what she was supposed to get up and stand up and say. But basically, after she spoke or whatever, or kind of like in the middle of her speaking, the judge kind of like, kind of stopped her a little bit and was like, "Ma'am, basically, this is not the time for someone to be trying to advocate that this person is not guilty because he's been found guilty of murder." And so, and even though it's sad to say, you know what I mean, it's sad, she looked hurt and whatever. She just was like, I guess she still was kind of, adamant that, of how she felt. And she just kind of thanked the court at that point and, kind of sat down. But I guess I'm reminded of that in this moment because, all right, Lord. Well, as much as we want to believe something, right? We got to be careful with what we align ourselves with, especially if we don't know if it's true or not. I know, and this is speaking of mothers, shout out to my mama. This is something she would always tell me and my sister growing up, that, about us telling the truth and whatnot. She said that she would want to be able to, stick her neck out on a chopping block for us if it's for the truth. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't want to be made a liar, basically, and everything like that. So I think with both of those scenarios in mind, right? We can't just go on feelings. We gotta seek the truth, and then, now obviously, hey, man, and see, this is my little humble opinion right here. Obviously, again, people people like this idea of your truth, my truth. Everybody got different truths. I don't like that idea. I think it's, excuse me, I think it personally, me, I just think there's truth. I don't think there's your truth, my truth, or different truths. I think it's truth. That's me. That's me. um, but anywho, so I think, right, if we're in situations where we don't know, right, because Because what we only know what we know, right? We only know what you see here, and we got to still be careful with that, right? But you only know what you see here, what you lived, whatever, that type of thing. Um, so if it's a scenario, right? If we're looking from the outside in and we don't know for sure what the truth is, then you probably have to kind of seek some get some understanding, right? Now some things it might have be well, I think all things we need to be seeking God for. I think that's where the Bible is telling us to do. But, aside from that, sometimes you might have to do a little research, right? Sometimes you might have to do a little digging, find the information, look up whatever is being talked about, and things like that. And then you can make, again, like a conscious decision. Then you can kind of look at, I've always been the type of person that look at like both sides of the coin, right? And then I can make a decision, or then I can be prepared mentally. That's what I always would do. Like I would like look at the negative and positive of different situations, and then I would be mentally prepared for either outcome. I guess same in this scenario. If we're looking at a certain topic, right, and then we're like, you know, did this happen? Did this not happen? What's the proof? What's the, you know, evidence? Whatever the case is, and then from there you can make a conscious decision of like, what side you want to lean on or whatever the case is. Hopefully it's on the side of truth. That's just me. Again, my little humble opinion, but also based on Bible as well. I don't know. That's something to think about there. I know that's just the first verse this morning, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. So 1 Timothy 5:19-20 says, "Do not admit a charge against an elder except on the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. As for those who persist in sin, rebuke them in the presence of all, so that the rest may stand in fear." So, a couple of things there. And I would say that this is the first time I'm saying it here today, but this has been reiterated several times in different verses that I read today in different places. This idea of not accepting the evidence or the accusation or the testimony of just one witness. That it needs to be at least 2 or 3 witnesses. So that's one thing. That's reiterated multiple times in the Bible, at least from what I'm looking at today. So that's one thing. And then 2, the other thing that stood out to me in this verse in particular is the part about, rebuking those that persist in sin in the presence of all. People probably got an issue with that. They probably take a little issue with that. People like, people don't want to be embarrassed and whatnot. But it's important to do so as well, because when you don't, right, rebuke sin, then people just go on and it affects other people, right? Because then other people are looking at that like, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal, or that person didn't get rebuked, or, I heard that this is what the Bible said, but if that person's not doing it, so that's how I can live like that person, like, because people tend to focus on what other people do versus focusing on living like Jesus. So yeah, those are the things that stood out to me in that verse this morning. But let's keep going. So John 7:51 says, "Does our law judge a man without first giving him I believe it's a trial." I think I forgot to write down the word trial or something like that. But okay, without first giving him a trial, having and learning what he does. This led me to read the entire John 7 this morning. I ended up wanting to go a little bit deeper about that. And it ended up being the section about Jesus going, I believe, I don't know if it was to Galilee or, I don't want to misquote. So y'all can read exactly where he went, but going to a place where he knew that the people wanted to kill him there. And in the beginning, he wasn't necessarily being like out in the open. But then at some point he did start to teach. out in the open and whatnot. But, because it wasn't time for him to be taken and everything, the people wanted to take him, but they withheld from taking him. And so people were communicating and trying to figure out, like, some people believed him, some people felt like he was the Christ, some people didn't, some people didn't know, and all of this. And so that's what was going on in there. And then basically one of the men towards the end in that verse that I just read to you, they was like, do we judge a man without giving him a trial, basically, and learning what he did? That's exactly what I see around us all day, every day these days. Like, it easily people will just take whatever. They'll just hear one thing and make it, again, the the trial, the jury of public opinion or whatever, however that little phrase goes again. It's just like, it doesn't take much for people to just gravitate or just take one thing, one accusation without proof, and make that the mountain, right? Like, make that everything. So yeah, that is happening. Yeah, people are definitely judging without get a trial or whatnot. People call that phrase like guilty until proven is innocent, right? Now the interesting thing is, personally, now this is me making an observation, what I'm thinking here is that if anybody was in the situation, right, we wouldn't want that done to us, right? We wouldn't want to be guilty until proven innocent. We would want to be considered that, we're innocent, until proven guilty. Like that, if it was me or you or whatever, we wouldn't want, like, public opinion to be against us, right? We would probably want people to seek the truth, get the evidence and all this stuff before the trial against me, right? But when it comes to somebody else, we quick to do the opposite. And I think that's just something else that's very interesting, that I'm observing, and then again, like, and even if the proof when the proof comes out that the statements was false, people still don't care. Like, they still, push the narrative. They'll still, side with the wicked, right? And spread the false report. It's like, what are we basing things on? And that's where morals and values and whatnot come in, right? Right? But again, we struggle with that. We struggle with morals and values. We don't have that. So that's why this type of stuff flies and happens. Because it's like, oh, there's no moral compass. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it doesn't matter what the truth is. It only matters what I think or what I feel in the moment, I guess. Except if it's me, though. Except if it's me. Like, if it's me, then I need all the grace, all the mercy, all the understanding. Well, those that have that mind, because then some don't care either way. But anywho, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And just a couple more verses, y'all. Let me see. As I was reading John 7 this morning, John 7:24 stood out to me. And it said, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory to me, man. It's like, don't just go off of what you see or think or feel. Like, research it, man. You know what I mean? Find the evidence. Find the proof. And then make your decision. Righteous judgment. You know what I'm saying? Like, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Put yourself in the shoes of whoever it is and think, well, okay, well, how would I want somebody to look at me right now, right? If I was this person, right, how would I want people to look at me? And then do your research, whatever, and then you can make a decision and judge or whatever the case is. But goodness gracious, like, to just look at something or to just follow blindly, it just doesn't seem wise, in my little humble opinion. But then I guess, do we care about wisdom in this day and age? I don't know. Anyway, I got one more verse to share, y'all, before I get into the Bible verse of today. So that is Numbers 35 and 30. It says, if anyone kills a person, the murderer shall be put to death on the evidence of witnesses, but no person shall be put to death on the testimony of one witness. Again, this concept is repeated over and over again to not, judge with just one witness and everything like that. That's it, y'all. I mean, I know I'm not being specific. I'm not talking about the exact scenarios. Y'all can, honestly, y'all can just look all around us. There's a lot of things that this can be, just can go with, you know what I mean? Y'all know hot button topics. Y'all know, the things that are going on right now. So, honestly, it's not for me to even, I don't know. I don't feel like it's for me to get into, I guess, different political conversations and whatnot. Obviously people can believe what they want to believe and everything like that. I feel like there's a lot of information that's out here and available. So for us to walk blindly, it's just, again, not wise, in my little humble opinion. I think that we should get, before we just support people, right? Or before we just, slander people, right? Or any of that, use your discernment, get an understanding, check out the evidence, and then once you've done those things, if you make a decision what's X, Y, and Z, cool. But to not do any of those things and just kind of go with the wave or the flow or whatever just because, I don't know how smart that is. And yeah, that's the juice, y'all. That's the juice this morning. The Bible verse of today is Proverbs 16 and 24. It says, pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day. Bye-bye. This has been brought to you in part by Anointed Touch, Health, Fitness, and Beauty. Eat right and exercise daily. Walk with God, run from the devil. 1 John 20:20, you have an anointing from the Holy One. Visit anointedtouch-hfb.com for more information.